Okay, well, there's a lot of debate in my metaphysics videos, and it's kind of funny. I started this off, well, not started, I mean, I've made a lot of videos on this, but recently talking about how simple my definition is, and, I'm getting debate from quarters that, well, I'm not surprised. I've been run into some of it before, but, to a degree, that does surprise me. Now, one of the things is, for example, I've been having a back and forth with a user called Shinlupus, and it's a bit of a frustrating back and forth, probably for him or her as well. But but it can be productive. The spits and starts in it are fine. There's some semantic things. I think Shin Lupus is making too many assumptions about parts of my philosophy that he has not asked about nor seemed to know about. But that's fine too. I would like him to, let me explain. We are having a conversation. He's doing that. I'm letting him explain. And but I want to talk about one particular thing that I think is confusing about all this. I say, my point that everything comes from perception is similar to saying that all things are as they appear to be. But we know that things, aren't as they appear to be. But no, things are as they appear to be. They're not as they just first appear to be. But see, part of my philosophy that I'm bringing into this is skepticism. I don't believe knowledge is ever final. So you always have to get more perceptions, and then you can build better knowledge. So, one of his examples is, the earth appears flat. You could even be killed for disagreeing with that appearance. So this is a big dangerous thing, using appearances. But I've seen pictures of Earth from space. I mean, the Earth does not appear flat anymore. At one time they didn't have those pictures from space. They didn't know. The first people that were thinking that, looked very closely at the way the shadows on the Earth worked. And the ancient Greeks did know that the Earth probably was round and it was from appearances. But insofar as people didn't have those appearances at some point, yeah, it makes sense to think that the Earth is flat. And we understand why they held that as knowledge. And the only problem came when other people had looked more closely and saw, no, wait, actually it appears to be spherical. That's the problem, that then at that point, people would reject the further appearances, okay? And what lets them reject that is they think they have these metaphysical truths. They've already grabbed this absolute truth. They don't need their senses. They don't need their senses to confirm what they believe. My view is not like that. I say you always need your senses to confirm what you believe, and when somebody else gathers some perception that threatens what you believe, you have to take that into account and look more closely. At one time, yes, the Earth appeared flat, and then it appeared spheroidal. And then we looked closer and we said, well, no, it's ellipsoidal. And if we look still closer, we'll find, well, it's not really ellipsoidal either. It has an irregular surface, And so the approximations that was flat was a decent approximation that we more or less use in our daily lives still. But a more careful approximation shows it's more like a sphere. And so, it seems confusing because we know that things are not always what they appear at first to be, but how do we find out what they really are? We look closer at perceptions. So it's still coming from perceptions, and we're still stuck with things being only what they appear, and the only thing we can do to improve that is to look closer to get a better idea of what really appears to be the case.